Holy Toledos! Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. Yesterday, Wizards, and I guess by extension myself, teased some quote-unquote big news. Of course, I was in the dark. I didn't know what was happening. And today we had the press release. They call it Weekly Magic. It's an update for Magic itself, which is actually really cool. You can watch that on Twitch. I'll have the link for it in the description. But, we've got a lot of new news, and maybe you've seen on the thumbnail, a brand new format. Oh my lord. We're going to talk about this and more. There's a lot to go through. Not only a brand new format, brand new cards, but we have new changes to the game in itself in general, which is really cool. So, welcome. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button to show the support. And, yeah, this might be a little bit of a longer video, but let's get into it. All right, first things first, introducing Alchemy, a new way to play Magic the Gathering Arena. And this is what you're all here for, a new format. The format is called Alchemy. Let's get this all trimmed up out of the way. Introducing Alchemy. Alchemy is a new arena play mode based on the standard format that will incorporate new digital-only cards that are released alongside the existing sets and the upcoming sets, which will be really nice. So we have an ever-evolving play mode, build decks with standard cards and new to digital only cards, plus rebalanced cards. So that's pretty cool. We have a lot to discuss today just on this first bullet point alone. So the new to digital cards is really cool. Alchemy will launch 63 new to digital cards with the Crimson Vow set, which is cool. We can expect this on December 9th. And then each set after this, Crimson Vow, like, Kamigawa will come out in, what's that, February 12th or something? I don't know the specific date. In a little bit, too far away to care. We'll get 30 new digital cards, right? So right now we're getting 63. In the future sets, we'll only get 30. The Alchemy sets will release roughly a month after the standard set originally comes out, right? We're also rebalancing Magic cards, which is absolutely crazy. So rebalanced versions of existing cards to shake up the meta for digital play. This, in my opinion, was a way for them to not affect standard, well, not standard, but paper play, while still, listening to the, the customer reports and feels that there's just some changes that we want to play, because we play so much Magic in standard that some things can get a little bit frustrating, right? So we're going to be rebalancing some of the most annoying cards in Arena within this Alchemy format. So it could be a more enjoyable format if you're like myself. And then we have the December State of the Game, which goes into the development of all this that we're going to check out in just a second. But first, we can try Alchemy, and when it launches, we will automatically receive 3 booster packs, 6 rare Alchemy individual card rewards, or ICRs, if you ever hear people refer to them as that. Now you know what they're talking about. And then 1 Alchemy Mythic rare, so, that's pretty cool, right? Not too bad. 3 boosters, 6 rares, 1 Mythic. You will be able to purchase Alchemy packs within the store for the same amount of resources, launching in the December game update, scheduled for the 9th. Can't wait for that. And then you can see the new digital cards here, which we're going to break down in a second. And then you can also see the rebalanced cards. We had I called it a press release, a stream, weekly MTG, which you guys should watch if you're really, really into the game, just to, stay on the pulse, or, maybe just watch these updates here. That's fine too. Where they went through everything, right? We had, I don't remember. We had a game developer, I think a programmer, and, the host as well, which is really cool. So definitely the people who you should be listening to, maybe more so than myself, right? If you're really interested in those hard facts and not just the general you know, overview here, because it was a long stream. It was a chunk of time. How do you play it? Like Historic, it'll be available within Arena only. So Alchemy is kind of the opposite of Historic, where it's a digital only format. You can't. Well, I guess you could play it in paper and just be like, these are the only cards we can use. But typically, you would play some of the other formats rather than Historic. Historic is built for Arena, and Alchemy is built for Arena, right? And then we can use these digital cards within them, which is really cool because these digital cards are available and playable in not only Historic, like the current digital only cards that we have, but they'll also be playable if they're in that standard rotation within Alchemy. And then the standard rotation will mimic or, align with the current rotation, and that's pretty cool. So they'll rotate out of the Alchemy format and still be playable now within Historic. Booster costs will, cost the same amount, plus there'll be a one-time bundle containing 20 boosters that you can get for 33,000 gems or 15,000 gold, one per player, right? And that's cool, and then you can collect them through the boosters, and there will be protection on those boosters, right? So if you're buying Alchemy booster packs, you'll collect first all of those Alchemy cards, and then instead of getting gems, you'll get the corresponding cards of that set. So if it's the Crimson Veil Alchemy, you're going to get the digital only cards and all the things that are from the new set in Alchemy. And then once you're out of those and you're still buying those to try to find the mythics or something, right? Because you'll still get those rares and stuff. You'll actually collect cards from that corresponding set instead of those gems, which is a massive thumbs up from this guy. I really like that. So that's cool. And then eventually, once you have both of those finished, you will get those gems. How do you tell if a card's been rebalanced? Well, it's going to have this pretty little mythic arena symbol up at the top, which I found to be strange. I understand putting the one at the bottom, right? I get that, but it seems to, why is it up by the name? I don't know. We'll see. And then we can talk about some of the rebalances, right? So for this Wizards class, level 3 cost 5, now it's down to 3, and that just maybe makes it more obtainable. We're going to talk about more of those balance already. If you have a card and it's been rebalanced, you'll have both of those cards. You'll have the original and you'll have the rebalanced. The original can be played in regular standard. It can be played in direct challenges. Sorry, massive brain fart there. And then you play the rebalanced version, obviously, in Alchemy and in Historic. We don't want more copies of or sets of cards. They want to keep it just to the original paper variant, and then the new balanced or arena variant, right? So if that makes it a little bit simpler to understand. The duplicate protection, we already talked about that, and then how often should we expect balance changes for Alchemy play, and then, in a couple weeks, and then adjacent to standard release, and then whenever they feel fit, you know what I mean? It's going to be up to their discretion. If you still have questions, here's a hashtag you guys can use and get at them on their Twitter. So that's Alchemy. That's pretty cool. So we get new digital only cards, we get rebalanced cards that are annoying, and we get a new format to play these in, which doesn't affect the current game, the current model for them in any way. So both parties should be happy, in my opinion, right? Those paper folks should be happy. They're still selling packs because the cards are great, and now the arena kids are good to go as well because they've got a safe place to hang out. With that being said, let's get into the rebalancing, and I'll have all of these articles linked because, I can barely read the cards, you guys. Like I always say, I'm just looking at the pictures. There's way too many words here for me. So here's the philosophy behind it all. But what we really want to look at is, let's just show me the rebalances, man. Let's just see what they're doing here, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. So All Runs Epiphany used to cost 7, still costs 7. The Foretell used to be for 6, but now the Foretell is for 7 as well. So the regular cost is now in unison with the foretell cost, which is a little weird, but you will only create the 2 birds if it's foretold, right? So you can't reduce it at all, and you only get the birds if it's been foretold. And remember that foretell will cost 2 mana prior to its being played. So it's like if you want the birds, you're getting taxed for 2 at some point in the game. Not bad. Maybe it's enough to persuade people out of it. With that being said, if you copy it, you're copying a foretold version, you're only getting 2 birds, you're not getting 4. So that might help also. Moving on, we've got the Chariot. The mana value is still the same at 4. It's still a 4/4. Previously, when it entered, you create 2 2/2 cats. Now, you'll create only a single 2/2 cat, but the crew cost has also been reduced to match it. So you used to crew both cats to have this thing come out. Now you're just crewing 1. So, a slight reduction, right? You don't get 2 bodies. Typically, the 2 bodies are pretty good. But it's much easier to crew this. You don't need to crew for 4. Crew 2 might make this card even better than it was. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, right? And again, they've done playtesting on all of these, they say or claim. And, I believe them, right? They want the best for Arena. Faceless Haven, I didn't know was a problem, but they just want people playing different styles of aggro decks, right? Not just mono white, not just mono green, using the Haven for the heavy lifting, right? They want people to experience vampires and werewolves and, spirits, these other aggro decks that still work fairly well that get overlooked because of the consistency of Faceless Haven, right? A 4/3 after field wipe is a lot of the time enough. It's a 3/3. That's all that changes. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I'm sure people are still just going to play this Faceless Haven. Goldspan Dragon, holy Toledos. We removed or becomes the target of a spell, and that's pretty cool, right? So when it attacks, it still makes the treasures. Treasures still sacrifice for 2 mana, but now when it's the target of a spell, you're not making a treasure. So this would shut down in Historic the Jezekai Infinite combo with the dragon, the mutate situation. And it also makes the Goldspan Dragon much easier to be removed. You no longer are forced to run a sacrifice effect, non-targeted field wipe. You can bounce it back to their hand without giving them the treasure, which now makes a counterspell. Things like this, right? So that's great news. Good to see Goldilocks getting its wings trimmed a little bit there. Luminarch Aspirant used to trigger at the beginning of combat, and now it triggers at the beginning of your end step. They think this is gonna slow me down? Oh no. Oh no. I'm still playing it. Omnath, Locus of Creation. It has a mana increase. So instead of 4, it's 5. And then instead of drawing a card, you scry 1. It still seems pretty good, man. This still seems real good. It's not... Landfall's back on the table, baby. You know what I mean? Cosmos Elixir, gaining 2 life and scrying 1 instead of just gaining 2 life, which is decent. That scry helps you find the field wipe. It helps you find, maybe a different answer that you need for that specific matchup. So this is a pleasant change. I can really get behind that. That's nice to see. Demilich is a 4/4 from a 4/3. Where's the flying? In my opinion, this should be 3/3 with flying, but what do I know? The 4/4 is that's fine. That's fine. And then we have Druid class, the cost reduction on level 3. I don't know if this changes much. And then we also have the cost reduction on Wizards class on level 3, from 5 to 3, and from 5 to 3 on both of them. I don't know. We've got the World Sculptor up next, and they've given it trample, and they've given its tokens trample. Sure. I just feel like this is still unplayable. 6 mana, but not if you're playing it with Omnath that generates a lot of that mana, right? There's okay. Typically unplayable, but now maybe back on the menu because we've got our Locus of Creation. So those are what we had for rebalanced cards. I'm curious of all of your thoughts and opinions on that. Some interesting things here. Goldspan was nice. The Chariot was, surprising, I think. And then Allrun's Epiphany, I really can get behind that as well. So I like to see that. That's cool, and I'm glad that something was done. Moving on, we've got the rebalanced card. We've got the state of the game in general. This is maybe where we should have started, but I was so excited. We just had to get right into the meat and potatoes. But this is where we'll see all of the actual game changes. We talked about some of the news that was within Alchemy, the format, the new cards that are coming, the balanced cards. I guess we've not shown any of the new cards yet. You have to buckle your boots up, baby. Hold on. So begin anew in December on the 9th, as we've already learned, we get the update. So we're going to have a new play blade. I'll teach you guys what that is in a second. I was confused as well. And then Alchemy. We already talked about that. We get 63 new cards, and then each other set will come with 30. And this will be that new format. They talked about the origins of it here. That's way too many words for this guy. But in short, it is a arena-only format as they move into the future of digital magic, right? Because eventually, one day, our cards will be NFT'd and we will own them. And that is going to be exciting. Anyways, alchemical components. They're talking about the new cards. They're talking about the rebalancing. And we already discussed all of that. Here's those rebalanced cards. Bada bing, bada boom. They will have an article to go through that in depth if you want to read more about that. But better scroll up. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. Let's talk about some of the new digital-only cards that will be coming to Alchemy within the Crimson Vow set. So, Absorb Energy, Instant Speed, counter target spell for 3. Cards in your hand that share a card type with the card that is countered will gain this spell, cost 1 less to cast. Oh, Toledo's. So you could counter a creature spell and reduce the cost of your Leer. Liar? I think it's Liar. People tell me that it's Leer, but I'm pretty sure it's Liar. And then I say Leer, but I don't feel right about it, so I'm just gonna be wrong. Anyways, I like this card, and it feels real good. So not only do we have rebalanced cards, but we have new cards, and we can go through all of those in a little bit because they're not showing you all of them, but I will. Then they're talking about, how things will work with the rebalanced cards and the card collection. So when a card gets rebalanced, you just have both copies. They're never, ever taking a card away from you. It's the same as when a card gets suspended or banned. You still have that card. You can still use that card in a direct challenge. They just refund you the wild cards, which is really cool. So they're never taking cards away. They just give you stuff for them, which is cool, while removing the playability of them. And that's what you're missing out on. That's why you get the wilds. Anyway, so, they show you what it's going to look like in the user interface. And then, okay, Alchemy, Innistrad. Let's go. So not Alchemy Crimson Vow like I was referring to, like a goon, but Alchemy Innistrad. We've got the Broodmother, we've got the Crossroads, and we have the Disciple. So some new cards to tease you guys. And again, these will be playable in Historic. They will also be playable in direct challenges. And finally, in the new format, Alchemy. Ishkana, Broodmother for 4 to 3/5 with reach. Other spiders you control get +1/+2. We can pay 2 to exile 2 cards from your graveyard, drafting a card from the spellbook. And just give me 1 second. I need to pull up another window to show you the spellbook. And it's in my Discord. If you guys ever want the sweet deets, the contest, the giveaway, just all of the goodies, right? We've got them here. So we were basically talking about everything as it was coming out. And I want to show you the spellbook because we get a couple spellbooks here. So here's the spellbook. Boom. Let's zoom in. Oh yeah, give me that, baby. Too far, HGG. Too far. Not so deep. Here's the spellbook. So we can pay 2, exile 2 cards from your graveyard, draft a card from the spellbook. We've got a list of spiders. You know, you're gonna go through those and learn what they are. And this is a cool way to bring some variability into the matches. Really cool stuff with that. So each card that has draft as a new mechanic on the card will have a draft list or a spell book that you can have a chance to pull these cards from. And it is random, and you will not have that card removed if you use the ability again. It's going to be a pull from the whole list again, which is pretty cool. So, into the crossroads, because, you know, the 3/5 reach for 4, buffing up other spiders, being able to flood the field with spiders, it's all right. But I mean, I would imagine that this will be a historic commander, because you can use these cards as they're legal in historic within, or I should call it historic brawl, but historic brawl within the game, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure that will be a question at some point. Forsaken Crossroads. So this is a new land, which is pretty cool. Entering the battlefield tapped. As it enters the battlefield, choose a color. When it enters the battlefield, also scry 1 if you were not the player who took the first turn. You may untap the Crossroads instead, and then you can tap to add mana of the chosen color. So this is really cool, and this adds another layer to the game where, you know, you're going first, gaining an inherent advantage, typically, especially within an aggro-based format, which I think we find ourselves in. So the Crossroads will, you know, help mitigate, that disadvantage, right? Moving on, the Torloff's Disciple for 3/3 with haste. Whenever it attacks, conjure 4 cards named. I actually missed this when I seen this the first time. Conjure 4 cards named Lightning Bolt into your library and then shuffle. Oh, Toledo! So you're not just getting 1 Lightning Bolt; you're getting all 3. That's incredible. Lightning Bolt is very good. It's a 1 mana 3 damage spell. Absolutely holy Toledos. So this is really nice. I like that. Of course, they go into your library and then you shuffle, so not right into your hand. But those cards will be in your library for the rest of the game, and they'll go into the graveyard. They won't disappear like a token. They're going to be in the game, which is really cool. And that's kind of what the conjure keyword means there. It's pulling a card that you don't have into the game, and it remains in the game until it ends. Anyways, so you get 3 cards from among the curated list, and you get to select one into your hand, right? So you do get to choose from among a list when you are drafting, which is pretty cool. So it's not just 1 random. It's going to give you 3 random. You get to pick one, I believe. And then, the packs. You know, we talked about this. You get to see what they look like, which is pretty cool. 1,000 gems per pack, 3,000 gems for 15 packs. And then there's that one-time offer that we talked about as well. Another set of packs for me to collect up to 69. Can't wait. And then playing Alchemy, that'll be fun. They talked about how you can play it in Historic, you can play it in the Alchemy, and then you can play it in the Direct Challenge. And the Play Blade update, I had no idea what, I'm like, Play Blade? Are we getting some Beyblade action? What's going on? No, you guys. Apparently, the sidebar in which you choose which queue to enter or game mode to interact with is referred to as the Play Blade. I had no idea. Anyways, this getting a total makeover. It'll be now sorted by 3 different tabs. We have the first one being events. We have the second one being play, which will be sorted into the different modes. We have the brawl mode here. We have the arena modes, I believe, and then we'll have the standards here. Oh, this will just show us our rank, maybe. Yeah, that's just going to show us our rank. Definitely. So that's just our rank. No, this will be limited. This one will be limited, and this will be constructed, right? Because there's got to be. Where's the limited play? Anyways, first time I've really looked at this. And then last played, just what you were doing, which is pretty cool under the bookmark there. Rounding things out, the first ever Arena Draft Open is this weekend. 2 days, you gain access to day 2 by winning day 1. The prize pool increased from 2,000 USD to $2,500 USD, which is pretty cool. And probably most importantly, if you're a free-to-play individual, right, is the jump-in tokens now available through the color challenge. So as you do the color challenge wheel, beat all these tutorial matches, basically, you will gain tokens for the jump-in event, which is a great way to grow your collection. And this is just a great second step for brand new players, right? First off, you complete the color challenge. Next up, you spend your tokens on the jump-in, and very fun format for new individuals who don't have a massive collection, because each player, your opponent as well, and yourself will be bound to the jump-in packs, which is pretty cool. And then unranked historic best of 3. Wow, how long did that take? Oh, Doritos! The person in charge of this must be an Is It player. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm just being sassy. You can still send me card previews. I love you guys. Anyways, I'm really excited to see that being available now, coming up, and then the cleanup step is just like, a little recap here, a little recap there. So that's cool. Moving on to our next tab here, and at this point, I don't even know what's going on, you guys. I'm so lost. There's too much information. Alchemy, Innistrad. So we've got some card previews to go through, which is exciting. In white, and this actually made me laugh out loud. I couldn't handle it. So they're like, yeah, we gotta trim down the effectiveness of Luminarch Aspirant, but then let's also pair it with a card perfectly. The Captain Everheart for 2 mana. It is a legendary though, which is great. 1/1 with double strike. I'll allow it. And then spells cast from among cards you drew this turn cost 1 less to cast. What? Okay. So every card you draw is now reduced by 1. Wow. Elite Spellbinder for 2, please. Brutal Cathar for 2, please. On your turn 3. Ugh. Oh my god. Anyways, spells cast from among cards your opponents drew this turn will cost 1 more to cast. Oh, you top deck the field wipe to save the game? Sorry, not enough mana. That's why, this card. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. In blue, we have Absorb Energy. We already talked about this. Counter target spell. Cards in hand that share card type with the countered spell perpetually gain 1 less to cast, which is really cool beans. This will, I think, be good in a Simic Flash deck because you have creatures, you have spells. So you use your spells to counter their creatures, and now your creatures, which have Flash, are now reduced as well, which is pretty cool. The Geist Channeler for 2. This is a 1/3, and when it enters the battlefield, choose an instant or sorcery card in your hand with mana value 3 or greater. It perpetually gains 2 less to cast. That's not good. That's not good. I thought we got rid of all runs foretell ability. At least they put it on a different card, So I would imagine that people are going to be using the Geist Channeler to reduce some spells. You already know. You already know. Patient 0. Now, this was actually really unique. This is worth our time. For 2 mana, 2/2 zombie. Fits in the format perfectly. Hello. Lifelink, which is great. And damage isn't removed from creatures your opponents control during cleanup steps. Okay. Welcome to Hearthstone, everyone. Buckle up. It's, again, a really cool effect that's never been, I think, used in Magic. Now available within the digital-only formats, Historic and Alchemy. Still new to my name. Still new to my brain. But this is cool. So, stuff like Cinderclasm, dealing damage to your opponent's creatures. Some of the lesser burn spells now becoming incredibly effective because, you can combo them together on different turns, which is really cool, right? You don't have to always do them on one turn. You can, Cinderclasm this turn, Cinderclasm that turn. Here's a shock there. Here's a shock there. So this is very, very interesting. And not only the spell damage, but the combat damage as well, right? If you've got great beefy defenders, now you're running, say, a 2/5 defender. And, this 2/5 defender, when your opponent attacks into it, now actually does something because your opponent's 3/3 or their or 4/4, whatever it happens to be, doesn't just remain there. So they can't just like go wide a little bit, because there is now consequence to some of these reckless attacks, which is pretty cool. So multiple angles for patient 0 that I'm excited to play with. Torloff's Disciple for 3. We already talked about this. 3/3 with haste, grabbing 4 lightning bolts, then shuffling. And then the Broodmoth we talked about already as well. We have Begin Anew for 4. Sorcery speed, destroy all creatures. Creature cards in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. So this is really nice. And that's something that I used to be told and taught that, mono white aggro, or Selesnya aggro, in this case, should be running a field wipe. There should be Doomscars. There should be Wraths, or whatever it happens to be in there. But no one's doing it. They're just slamming these creatures and going faster. But Begin Anew will actually reward this behavior, right? Having a field wipe in with your creature deck, which is cool to see. Gitrog, Whore of Java for 4 mana, 6/6 with Menace. Whoo! That's kind of like Polakranos, you know what I mean? Chomp chomp, baby. At the beginning of each combat, if it is untapped, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If they do, tap Gitrog, and then seek a land card and put it into the battlefield tapped. Ooh, your creature dies, I get a land? 6/6 for 4 mana? I'll allow it. And whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it perpetually gains 2 Golgari, tap it, sacrifice this land to draw a card. Whoa. Whoa. That is a card. Wow. That is so good. That is a good card. I can't get over it. Colorless well, I'm going to have to get over it, I guess, because the Traveler's turn is here. And it is very ominous. A 1/1 human. I thought really that this would be a shapeshifter. I remember thinking that when I was watching their stream. When it enters the battlefield, draft a card from the spellbook. That card perpetually gains. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. And when you cast this spell, return a card named the Traveler you control to its hand, right? So this is really cool. So that ETB will re-trigger every time you play the card that you get with it. And let's take a look here, if I can find the window at the spellbook, because I have that here somewhere. I got you guys covered. I got all the deets. We got all the deets. So here's the spellbook. Dominating Vampire, Vampire Socialite, the Blood Thief, the Pitfire, the Outcast, the Piper, the Overlord, the Geist, the Sifter's Spirit, Geist. So you're really getting, it would appear, vampires, werewolves, spirits, and zombies, which is cool. So you're hitting kind of all the tribals with that. And I just wish it was a shapeshifter. Why is this not a changeling with shapeshifter or whatever? You know what I mean, right? So that seemed odd to me that it's a human. I think it would be a billion times better if it fit that tribal feel and could blend into any tribal deck, right? And then you had a chance to get the matching tribe instead of like, well, here's a human and there's a chance. So I don't know about this card. It's nice and cheap, I guess, at least. Forsaken Crossroads, we already talked about. And yeah, so they talk about the spellbook here. If you really wanted to dive in, a 1/2 spider with reach. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/2 with token with reach. So that's not bad. Drider, a 4/3 with reach. Whenever it deals damage to a player, create a 2/1 black spider with reach and menace. That's fairly good. The Brood Weaver, a 2/4 with reach. When it dies, create a 1/2 token with reach. The Glowstone Recluse from Ikoria, mutate for 4, which is nice. Reach, and whenever this creature mutates, put 2 counters on it. The Notvold Recluse for 3, 4/2 with reach, sure. Hatchery Spider, this is good for 7, 5/7 with reach. Undergrowth, whenever you cast a spell, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount or number of creature cards in your graveyard. You may put a green permanent card with converted mana cost X or less from among them into the battlefield, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whoo, that's a payoff spell. The Mammoth Spider, 3/5 with reach. The Netcaster Spider, 2/3 with reach, and whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it will gain +2/+0, which is great. Sentinel Spider, 4/4 Vigilance Reach. The Snare Spinner, a 1/3 with reach, and it will get +2 whenever it blocks with something with flying. For 3, and a 1/5 with reach, the Spore Cap, and the Spidery Grasp for 3 instant speed. That's nice. That's not a spider spell. Untap target creature. It gains +2/+4, and it gains reach until the end of turn. Interesting. And then we have Spider Spawning for 5. Create a 1/2 spider creature token with reach for each creature in your graveyard. Flashback for 7. That's not bad. That's kind of interesting. Prey upon target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. A woof. And then finally, Arachniform for 2. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 reach, and is every creature type, right? So a lot of cards here that we're not familiar with. That's why I want to go through them. And then the Ominous Traveler. We know these cards, right? These are all in standard. You know, there's nothing here that we don't already know. The spirits, right? And then the zombies. So that's kind of what we have going on with new cards. And of course, we have new spoilers because there's 63 cards. We've not revealed them all. If I can remember, CGB has spoilers. Croaky has spoilers. Numot the Nummy. I used to say Numot the Mummy for the longest time, but Nummy has spoilers. Nerd Girl has spoilers, and then Eldrazi has spoilers as well. I know you guys already are familiar with these creators, so go give them some love on their reveals, and let them know if you're excited about Alchemy, or maybe what you're most excited about it. So, to recap, you guys, we had a lot to go through today, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to do my best to, make sure that I'm dispelling any confusion, and of course, as always, the links for these articles will be in the description below if you want to give it a deep read. But I think we've already spent enough time. So, we've got Alchemy. That's really cool. We've got rebalancing, and that's really cool being a part of it with some new cards, which is great. The user interface update through the Blade also seems to clean things up. And we did have leaked that there will be changes. They didn't say what changes, but we will have changes to the way that our decks are stored, the deck builder, etc. When we look at all of our deck storage, that will have some changes, which is cool. And as we look at the events, you see how they're all laid out differently here. That's something that we didn't see either. But yeah, the play blade has been changed. The draft open is this weekend. The color challenge for the tokens, unranked historic best of 3. That's it. All that we have left to do is to like the video and leave any comments, any questions that we have down below. Thank you guys for your time and attention. I know. I said I would do the mono white video. It'd be the next video, but I had serious rank fatigue. I just could not bring myself to open up and play a game of ranked. I was just like, I'm taking a day off, man. I've played so many Magic matches in the last day to get to Mythic rank number 4. And I think today, through not having played Magic for 24 hours, I slipped down to rank number 20. So it's fine. We're gonna climb into the top 10 probably tomorrow, and we're gonna break down mono white for you guys, version 9, Milky Smooth, of course. So make sure to get that into your calendars and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Cheers. We'll see you soon in the next.